Hello and welcome back for another clarinet tutorial from Nottingham Music Excellence. So I'm going to play one of the tricky pieces in the grade 7 book today called Sérénade Populaire by Paul Lewis. Also in this video I'm going to give you a tutorial on some of the details of the music, have a chat about that, and also there'll be an opportunity for you to play along with the piano accompaniment yourself. So feel free, use the description, I've got the timestamps in there, and go ahead and click on any parts that you feel more relevant to you. Hope you enjoy the video. Here we go. So let's have a look at some of the notes and the detail of the music. So it's marked straight away, andante espressivo con rubato. So very expressive, and rubato played with a very elastic tempo. So it is kind of loosely a kind of a 3/4 waltz. And as you approach bar 15, really listen carefully to the piano here. So the piano changes from quavers to crotchets, and then that's your signal to go into the accelerando and lead the way for that new tempo. Now I've marked on my music here to go for a left hand B, and that's because as you go into bar 19 and 20, I want my little finger free to hit that top D. So I don't want to be stuck on a right hand B and then have to jump to that. So I've just marked a left hand B. That might make that a little bit better. So, and then you'll get a better tuning on the D there. And then also on bar 24, 25, as you go up the Rit and Accelerando, now here I've marked on the Accelerando bars, so bar 25 and 27, I've actually written to go G sharp, right hand C sharp, and then switch to left hand C sharp. It's not really important so much on bar 25, but on bar 27, I noticed in the early stages of me playing this, I kept on messing up that E on the next page. Whether it was a reading thing over to the next page or getting my little fingers in a pickle, but I noticed that if I went from a right and then just changed straight away to a left on the second C sharp, then it left my little finger free to play a nice top E. So I'll just play that in really slow motion. So and then not so important as I say on that one, but then on the next one, so now I've got my little finger free to play a more in tune E. Hope that makes sense. And then I think as we approach the next section into bar 33, 34, this is where I think you can really have fun here, and don't get caught up in playing sort of da 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 da. Really think of it as a kind of a whole phrase. You could almost really throw those semiquavers away. Something that I couldn't really do when I was playing it with headphones, but if I was playing a live performance of this, if I was playing this in a concert, I'd really want to play around with this, I think, and have some fun here. So really throw away those notes. But again, going back to one of the key features here is the slowing down, the speeding up, the slowing down, the speeding up. You've really got to be able to utilize that and really play around with it. Now this next section at 49, I did find this quite hard to play actually with headphones. I just couldn't quite latch on to all the quavers in the piano part, and because the piano part is playing with a bit of an elastic tempo as well, shall we say, I found this a little bit difficult to get perfectly in sync, but it's mostly there, I think. So again, this section is really looking back to the Andante espressivo con rubato from the opening theme, but it is quite high here, isn't it? I mean, this is really what gives it away, I think, as a bit more of a flute piece. Although it is perfectly playable on the clarinet, it does sound quite high, doesn't it? Okay, and moving into 65 on the third page, I think this is my favourite section of the piece. Quite good fun this is, I think, to play. Quite jolly. Just be careful at the end of that first bar that you don't get caught out on your fourth finger there, or it stitches you up for that bar. So da 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 dum. So land on your middle finger F sharp there. So really clear entry with the staccato there. And 78, I think this is one of my favourite bits of the piece actually. I really enjoyed playing this. So a little bit of a fiddly thing going on there with the little finger and the left hand C's. And again there with the A flat and the D flats. It's a little bit awkward, isn't it? And okay, this next section at 84. Now this I found quite tricky actually. You have to be just a little bit careful there around the break. And then actually I think this section was just quite tricky to follow on a fixed backing track through the earphones. So and notice it's marked molto writ there. I would do that molto writ really slow down at the end of that bar. You've got the tram lines marked there, and have a really good breath. Just prepare yourself for that last page. And the next section. And then we find ourselves in a bit of a gliss here. I just say in the opening statement that the gliss is not compulsory. I think it's quite nice to get that gliss in there. It sounds so cool. And if you can't do a gliss, then watch a few more YouTube videos on how to do a Rhapsody in Blue gliss. So I would suggest maybe go from maybe G or A or something like that. And remember that the gliss is mostly with the grip, not really with the fingers. So just kind of actually on one of the takes that I did, I kind of completely missed it and nothing came out, which was a bit weird. So I had to splice it in that section. But I think if you can get that gliss in there, it's quite a cool little feature. Okay, now on to the most difficult section of the piece at 95. Now this is quite taxing on the breathing, I found. I found that the only way I could get through this to take a massive breath at the end of bar 94 and then get my way all the way to 100. So you need to know those scales really well and be able to play them really fluently, and especially, of course, the chromatic scale. And then when you get to the top of the chromatic scale at the C sharp, and then steal a bit of time from that dotted quaver to help you get through the next section. So snatch a quick breath in there. And then snatch a quick breath in just after the F sharp trill before you get to the Allegro molto. I can't see really any other way of doing it. I know when I played this, by the time I got to both of those points, I was dying for air. So I'm sure you will be too. And then of course, if you make it to 106 in one piece, then you've got 2 bars off just to prepare yourself for that last bit. And the closing bit is not too bad, is it? You need to be able to play a top G though. Good fingering for top G, so 1 finger there, 2 on the right hand, and of course that little finger just to bring it up to pitch. Just be careful how much you force that last note. You don't want to squeak on the very last note, do you? It's never good. Now on the piano accompaniment section that I've given you, just to help you get through that section where the piano doesn't play, I've inserted a click at the start of bar 101, and then I've inserted 4 clicks every minim for 102 and 103. So I've inserted clicks there so that you know when the piano is going to come in at just before the Allegro molto. Hopefully as you play it through, it will all make sense. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So best of luck for this one if you're doing this for grade 7. I'm not sure why this was grade 7 and not grade 8. I think it certainly is on the upper limits of grade 7. So if you're doing this for grade 7, I think you can give yourself a grade 7 3/4. You know, I think this is quite hard for grade 7. Technically quite tricky, quite high up in the instrument. It needs lots of flexibility in all areas, all aspects of your playing. You need to be able to fit with the piano really well. The breathing is, I think, is a problem on all the pieces for this grade actually, but the breathing is a problem on the last page. Just, you've got to be careful how that fits with the piano. So I think all in all, it's a great piece to play actually. It's really good fun, despite it being a tricky flute piece. I think it is a really good fun piece to play. So if you're doing this for grade 7, the best of luck. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.